Today has to have been the worst time of my life, even more than when my parents died. Due to events I could not prepare for, Dashie found out the truth before I could tell her myself. She knows what she is. A made-up cartoon character from a kid's television show. She is mad. No, upset beyond all thought. She had locked herself in her room. But I know my daughter. She didn't stay in there long. She opened her window and flew off, probably into a tree to sulk in her sorrow. I'm a monster. I should have told her sooner. I just wasn't sure when would be the right time. Now we're both suffering for my carelessness. I thought getting cable would be a good thing, give her some more shows to watch, but what I didn't realize was that we got the help station. I wasn't even aware it was still up, and find me surprised the show My Little Pony is still even airing. It had stopped at 8 seasons, but still it was repeated. I remember. I walked in from work with groceries, set them in the kitchen and walked into the living room. That's when I saw it. Yay, she did it! Fluttershy had screamed, jumping with joy as Applejack, Twilight and Pinkie Pie all sat on the clouds with dumbfounded looks on their faces. My heart sank. I knew this episode. I remembered this episode. Even after seeing nothing for 12 years. I still remember that damn episode. In that episode, Rainbow Dash performs the Sonic Rain Boom, much like how my Dashie had years ago. At that time I was still holding my keys, and I dropped them. They clanged on the wood floor. If she didn't know I was home before, she knew now. How long? Dashie asked me, no emotion in her voice. How long have you known about this? Dashie turned to look at me. She had been crying, and her mane was in even worse shape than normal. How long have you known about this? I couldn't help it. A tear ran down my cheek as she yelled at me. This was the first time in all these years she had raised her voice to me. And I deserved every bit of it. So I sat down, turned off the television and told her everything. I told her about the show, about finding her, and answered any other questions she had for me. There were a lot. Most of them stemmed from the show, to which I simply told her what I truly believed. That, though she is the Rainbow Dash from the show, that she herself is a different pony from the cartoon. I tried to explain it to her, but her bullheadedness took over as she continued to lash at me. I took it all. I deserved it all. I have been keeping that horrible secret from her for far too long. She is now a fully grown mare, capable of taking care of herself if she were in Equestria. Here, I treat her still like she was my little filly. It's been wrong of me, but I couldn't help it. I didn't want this to ever happen, but I knew it would. I should have done what was right, but I didn't. It was only a matter of time before she found out, and she knew she was different. After our argument, she flew upstairs into her bedroom and slammed her door shut. I checked on her an hour later, and no response told me she had flown off. I can only hope that she comes back, or at least, if she doesn't, she stays away from any other people. If anything, I hope some sort of portal opens up and she goes back to her world, and never has to think of me again. All I can say to her at this point is that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's been 3 days since Dashie left. The night of her departure, I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I went for a walk. I wasn't sure where I was going, or how long I walked, but that's what I did. I walked. Now 3 days later, I'm finding myself out here walking once again. I've been out for roughly 3 hours, and though it is only 5 in the afternoon, it has grown dark. A storm is brewing, and soon I will be getting hit by the brunt of it. I turn around to begin my walk home. Though I don't rush, my energy these past few days has been non-existent, as I have barely eaten anything more than some toast. I feel so lost as I walk through the woods that surround my home. No, our home. It is as much hers as it's mine, and nothing will change that. The rain has begun, but I do not quicken my pace. I just walk, much like I had done so long ago. The distant memory of all my pain and sorrow before Dashie began to see back into my mind. I haven't had these thoughts in years. The pads of water on the tree leaves help keep me distracted. It's a peaceful sound, one you would never hear in the city. The rain is picking up and my shirt is now soaking wet. I'm sure I will be sick tomorrow morning, but I don't care. I've been sick for 3 days now, a mental illness that has been tearing me apart. My daughter is somewhere out there, hurting, needing some comfort and warmth in this rain. I wish I could be there for her, even though she may not want me to. She may not ever want to see me again from how she acted. I don't blame her. It must be such a horrible thing finding out your past like that. I can't even imagine what it would be like. I know Dashie is a strong mare, and she can pull through, but I also know how she holds a grudge at times. I'm not sure that, even if she did come back, she would ever forgive me. Or more importantly, if I could even forgive myself. It's now purring out there. The tree canopies are barely holding back the torrential rain as I'm hammered by the water droplets. I stop to look around and find my bearings to return home. I am not lost. Most of this area is easy to traverse once you get used to it. It's just, I'm also looking for Dashie as I walk. It's the reason why I'm walking in the forest in the first place. I press on, keeping a steady pace through this rain. Suddenly I spy a large, thick tree. Its stature sticks out amongst the rest, and from looking at the barely wet grass underneath, I can tell its many branches are holding back even this hard rain. I need to take a break, so I walk under the tree and sit down. The grass is barely wet, with only a few small droplets making their ways down. This is the kind of tree I'd imagine Dashie would hide under in this rain. I wish it to be true, but I saw no sign of her as I approached. I close my eyes and lean against the tree hulk as I think about my life. Our life together as a father and daughter. We have grown so much as a family, and have been fortunate enough to have very few fights. None of them were as heartbreaking as the one 3 days ago. I feel a tear running down my cheeks as I imagine Dashie's face again. The anger in her eyes mixed with the confusion. It just tears me apart. I want so badly to make things right, or go back in time and stop it from happening. But I can't do either of those. What's done is done. I'm so sorry. I speak out loud, not caring for no one is listening. I'm alone in these woods, besides the wildlife. In these rain they are hiding as well, and the ones that aren't are far from being such as I. I'm just so sorry, Dashie. I continue to cry as I keep my eyes closed and leaning against the tree. The rain continues to pour around me. An occasional drop hits my head, but I don't care. Crack. I open my eyes from the sudden sound and look to my left. I'm shocked at what I see before me, looking at me with teary eyes herself. Dashie, my little Dashie, covered in burrs and tree sap along her mane and tail, is standing a couple feet from me. She is wet with both rain and tears. I hadn't heard her approach, then again, being a Pegasus, she was very quiet and light on her hooves. She doesn't speak and instead walks over to me, not caring what noises she makes under her hooves. I don't move. I just sit on the ground and watch with my own wet eyes. She looked so horrible, yet so beautiful at the same time. Her coat would need a good cleaning, but that was the last of my worries. Without a word, she sits next to me, not making eye contact as she looks off into the woods. I can only look at her, wishing to hug her tightly and never let her go again. But I hold back, knowing that it would be too sudden. Finally, she is first to speak. I... I heard you. Her voice then got quiet as she whispers. And I am sorry too. I simply smiled through my tears. Her stubborn attitude was still showing, as she always had difficulties apologizing. Dashie, you have nothing to be sorry about. It's my fault, simple as that. It seems my point doesn't get across, as she finally looks to me with a sorrowful face. Dad, do you still love me? Now is the time to act. I reach over and grab her, holding her in a tight hug. Of course, Dashie. I have always loved you. I still love you, no matter what. Not even a small fight such as ours could ever change that. She returns the hug as we sit there and cry together. We continue to apologize, me for the truth and her for raising her voice and storming out. After some time, the rain subsides while we remain under the tree. Dad? Can we go home now? I need a shower. Bad. I let out a chuckle, and she too laughs as I stand. We make our trip back home. She is smiling again. I am too. I've been giving it some thought, and I think I shall give her her birthday present a little early. A ticket to the Indy 500. Yes, I am taking her to the Indy 500. She can simply sit on some clouds and watch while I'm in the stands. I didn't even have to get her a ticket, but she needs some sort of reminder of her visit. I'm sure she'll have a blast though. And though I don't expect this to make everything right, I can only hope that she has a some. With some time, I'm sure she will relax and settle down about her being in the cartoon. She's a smart mare, and knows she is real, not that made-up pony from the cartoon. I can only help push her to believing that, and hope she does the same to me.